but we will be doing dedicated motherboards later. The A's for me, the Prime, it's a nice starting point, and that gives me some really good ground and some really good meat to see what the boards, which I normally review the ones that end up being slightly higher up in the ranges, like for argument's sake I've got back here the Tough and the Prime Deluxe, but I've got the X299 Gaming Pro Carbon there from MSI. I've also got the Gigabyte Gaming 7 here, so I've got lots of motherboards here already. I've got the Strix coming as well, so there's lots of stuff that you're going to get coming over the next couple of weeks. But with this board, it gives us a really nice, good grounding point. Now, something I will say is I tested the 7820X on the 0401 BIOS, but we've had an update to 0501, and this has made some pretty big changes with the memory. But what I want to do is I want to talk to you about the overclocking with this and temperatures and all that sort of stuff. So it comes with a staged boost where if you load up all the cores you'll get 4 gigahertz basically, but then it can flick between a comfortable 4.3 gigahertz and then sometimes it can even push up that little bit further to 4.5 depending on your the way that your motherboard's set up and the way that you tune things and how many cores said programs are using. If you go into the BIOS and turn on match all cores, then the boost past 4 gigahertz won't work anymore. At least it doesn't with the Asus boards. But then what if you have that on, it will sit at 4 gigahertz all the time. Whereas if you have it so that the cores can kind of do what they want, then you'll get them running lower at some times, and then also you'll get them running that little bit quicker at other times. There's something I noticed, and it was a weird couple of benches that I noticed that sometimes programs don't necessarily put a great deal of load onto something like the CPU. And when the CPU downclocks, so does, if you look in CPU-Z under the memory tab, it's called the NB frequency, which is basically the QPI link on this, and that downclocks as well. Now what I did notice was when it all kind of downclocked itself and it was sat at idle, things like hard drive benchmarks, at least with this BIOS, were taking quite a big hit. So for argument's sake, I run with the M.2 drive, so I'm expecting sort of like fairly big scores, and just by going into the BIOS and stopping that core changing actually then made my the benchmarks for my memory